have here an advanced student in the class.
Oh yeah, sure.
Seiwa. This Shakuhachi was made by Enzan. He is a very incredible performer.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. He premiered many works of Minoru Miki, Katsutoshi Nagasawa. He also has the Dolce Hogaku Association in Chiba, and he's a very nice performer. Very different from Fuke Sensei, but very, very beautiful. Sakata Seisan, Seiwa.
Thank you.
Oh, and now I'm going to write a very important thing. Some people just finishing still in the square. I'm going to check. Otherwise, we start.
It's so fun.
It is.
I wish I could play like this.
I made a long one once, but it was terrible and it broke.
Yeah.
Hello.
It was
What I can play?
there was a collector by the name of Dan Myers
Hello.
in England. And
Başarılı.
it was crazy.
When they made the workshop.
So he would come to my classes and would say, I want scores, give me an invitation. And he didn't read, he didn't play Shakuhachi, but he would just
I'm guessing you probably have kind of smaller attendance because the competition's happening at
Oh yes, yes. I will stop. And if suddenly people can, I will repeat again what I'm going to say.
Oh yeah. Competition.
I will use also two shakuhatsus to explain later something about the utauchi. Okay. First of all, well, my name is Antonio Entian, for those who don't know me. Here in the schedule, it says Fuke Shakuhachi and Contemporary Techniques. I sent a correction to the festival because at this festival I was like a contemporary music performer. So I sent a details to Marta Fabrik to do the correction, like, would it make any more sense if I teach contemporary techniques rather than another school that nobody is familiar with it? And she said, yes, send me the corrections. But finally, the corrections were not done on the schedule. So this workshop is about contemporary, how can we use the head and the airflow for modern pieces, okay? I drew this clock because the clock will represent the movements of our head. This center, the cycle, means when I play the shakuhachi in center position. This is center point, okay? I don't know, most of the players later on we develop to play with the left part of our lip or the right side or the right part of our lip. We usually never play with the lips like in the center. I put basically all the information here at 9 because I am left side player, so if I look the clock, I will move, all my head movements will be in the left part. Right side players will use this part, okay? Next, I put here the basic Japanese scale, the Ratsudechiri, and I put here these two notes, for example, tsu and chi, with a circle, that these notes means that we will play by side. I have noticed that in Japan, most of the players, because this method is from my teacher, Teruhisha Fukuda sensei, that is one great expert in contemporary music, and he developed in Shakuhachi this new technique. If you see the players, when they are playing the notes and when they are not doing yuri, they always play, for example, like this. Always in center position. But my teacher, and then later on myself, when we have melodies, we play one note in each side. For example, what is the difference between this or what can fill your ears? The difference between this one and this one.
Second louder.
Not only louder, is motion in the sound. Why? Because if I start to put, for example, in this center side, later on, when we have a score, we can choose the notes aleatory. There is not a rule which notes. For example, the stronger parts, we always will play in the center point. And the mezzo forte or softer parts, we will go by side, okay? So why I am explaining about the motion in the sound? If suddenly it gets this pentatonic scale, I start to use the...
Do you want to song? Did you want?
Why not? Welcome. When I was saying that when I choose this method to play these notes, for example, in the center and this on the side, and I start to play, for example, with Yuri, and if I play these same notes, for example, Ivory, in a straight mode, what happened between one example and the other one? What difference
One
can you feel?
with changing side, it feel like a tidal movement.
Yes, it's more, let's say, expansive than when I play at all times in the center position. So now, what are we going to practice are our head angles. Some people during these days, including this gentleman, Barry, one day when we were doing the Fuke practice, he was saying, "That rope where it comes from?" And I said, "It comes from Spain, my country." So I am going to give you a very basic practice using the head movements about how improve the rope. The first thing, which side are you? From which side do you play shakuhachi? The left part of the leaf or the right part or the right part of the leaf? Left? Right? Right players, you are going to start with your head at 3 o'clock. And left side players, you are going to start at 9 o'clock. So the practice is, first, the row when we have, or any note in the shakuhachi, when we have our head separated from the center point, the air column cannot be very fast, that when I am in the center. So I start, for example, 9, here. And in the center is where the sound starts to increase. And another thing, for example, to improve your raw sound, I used to do, before I play a straight row, I do, for example, it's like my head is already preparing the point where I am going to put the sound within the board of the shakuhachi. Another aspect, where to send exactly the sound. This is the otaguchi, okay? Center point. When I start to play and I want to do the sound projection, the point where I send my air column is around here, within the board. In this part or in this part. Right side players, they will use this point or this point. And another thing, once I find the precise point for the note otsumuro or whatever the note, keeping the diagonal of my air stream, I start to project the sound to the front without losing the diagonal. For example. And your lips must be very open, like this opening is what I used to play otsumuro. So please, let's start this practice. And later on, we will move to play different notes on the side, and after we will start to practice the different families of yuri.
What if we don't know what side we're on?
Play Barry, and I will tell you what side are you on. You are like me, left side.
This way.
This way.
Okay. Left side. Thank you.
Right. people at the class are playing with the lips in the center point. When I say that we play by side, we don't have to change the position of the shakuhachi, it's the position of our lips. I can promise you that all the masters that are here never play with the lips in the center. For what reason is this? When we start to play the shakuhachi techniques, for example, yuri, yoko yuri, tate yuri, mawase yuri, or the techniques, for example, in yokoyama hongyoku, if we play with the lips in the center, we are going to lose strength and dynamics in the instrument. For example, because I am left side player, when I start to use the yuri technique, it helps me a lot to choose the left side. For example, I can move my head really precise because I am using my left part of the lip and I am blowing through the left part of the shakuhachi. Same as if I am doing, for example, the head ornamentation for yokoyama hongyoku. I am using my left part of my head and the left part of this.
So when you go merry, you go more central?
Yes, no. When I go merry, I don't go to the center. I start to move my head towards the 8, 7, or 6 for O merry. So basically, for the merry notes, so I start to make like a circle from the 9, going from here, and when I have to go back again to carry, I don't go with my head like in this line going back to the center. I use this diagonal again to come here. This gives more movement to the sound. But let's go first, please, to this practice of choose your side, 3 o'clock or 9 o'clock, and start the sound from the side and move your head gradually to the center point and start to do the projection of the broad note. Continue because I would like to listen the general sound of the class.
So when do you reach the top of the volume? Like when you go out here and it's the loudest, or you come back and that's the loudest?
No, when you go to the center, it's the loudest.
So you start at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, and then, for example, because I also use 9 because I am left, I start first with a soft sound, an airy tone. Yes. Yes.
Is it like also a Kali movement? Like
Pardon?
a Kali?
No. Kali will be like 10 or 11. It's only side.
Only side.
No, I don't go with my head. I don't put my head up.
Okay.
Richard asked me, if you are a center player, how can you change the side of your lip? How can you play with the left side, or how can you play with the right side? In this part are the muscles that are in control of our lips. So when I play, I start to tight my muscles here. I start to, and another very interesting detail. Some people, when they play the shakuhachi, they do with the lips a bit smiling, like, I'm going to blow. Dameda. No. No. Why? If we use like a smiling position, we are squeezing the air column. Of course that we can play a beautiful sound, for example. But if I change the way of the contraction of my muscles, and I go towards the direction to the floor, like this part, I don't know how to call it in English, but this part goes downside. And doing this position, you get a full round sound with the instrument, rather than using a smiling lips. Okay? So this part, one more please. You see, I press strongly with my fingers, and this part is well structured, like firm. Yeah. Okay? Any other question? Yes.
I'm sorry, this is the thing. When you said center versus left and right player, do you actually move your lips to left or center to not be center? Or you like do you
No, I keep, I mean, the utabuchi, I keep it straight. That's here in the center point. What I change is my lip position.
you're aiming at the side?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So a practice that you can start to do is practicing with this part of the muscles. And for example, because I am left side player, the stronger muscle position will be my right one here. And if you are right side player, your stronger tension is going to be in this part of the face. Okay? Please. I am going to check. And this part, this is still soft. notice that some of you, when you play Shakuhachi, because still we have fear to lose the sound, no? We put the Shakuhachi like this. It's okay to start to build up the sound, but the position of the Shakuhachi, it's better if it's as down as possible. Why? Because if I open the utabuchi and I leave a distance with my lips and the angle of utabuchi, I can put more air. This practice is going to build your physical shape, playing shakuhachi. Because at first, perhaps when we are practicing these sounds with the left like this, we can run out our breath quickly, but this training will start to shape your breath, the muscles that we have here on the top diaphragm, because these muscles and this one are the ones that always control the air column. So this part, we also need to have a nice tension to hold the air column. And through this practice, your breath capacity will be increasing bit by bit. Yeah. I am telling you this according to my experience, because first, when I start to study these methods, with this strong draw, with opening the angle, I was running out very quickly my breath, until I start to understand how the technique was working. No? So now, for example, I can play with the angle of the shakuhachi quite down, the utabuchi and my lips quite open, and I can, and if you can hold, for example, in the future, 10 seconds raw, you are fit. No? Like another hint is your, how can I say, mouth cavity, is correct in English? Mouth cavity? Okay. My teacher, and later myself, how can I say, when I started my lessons with Fukuda Sensei, it was my very first time to listen in shakuhachi someone playing with the cheeks. If you see the face, please, and I will recommend you in the concert of this evening, the players, what is happening in here, you will see that many of them, her cheeks position is always like this. No? But my another suggestion to make a very bold sound is that, for example, I am left side player, I am going to feel my left part of the cheek. Of course that some air will go also to the right part, but the most important is the cheek of the lip that you are blowing. Look, for example. This one could be a little bit more advanced to do well just now, but I am telling you as information that, for example, you can start in your practice at home when you play any note, raw, whatever, that you start to play, for example, normal without pulling air in this side, and then once that you are playing that note, you start to like a didgeridoo, or like a oboe, or any other wind instrument that we need to use the cheek.
When you go vertical, you don't go kari?
No. Some players, they say that when you lower the position of the shakuhachi, they call it kari position. But kari means head up, not angle of the shakuhachi
So
down.
it doesn't go sharp?
No.
But sir, like when we hold it flat, it has the image of like blowing directly into the food.
Yeah.
If you do this, I feel like I'm wasting air by like blowing this way, and then the air is not going as straight down as I want it.
I said before that even when we lower the angle of the shakuhachi, we have to keep the diagonal. You know, for example, I am going to start like this, and without, I am going to start to move my shakuhachi towards me. In this position, if I want to open very much my lips, I cannot. Why? Because the taguchi is already very close from my lips. Look. If I pull the sound, if I press the sound, automatically it jumps to kanro, okay? But if I keep the strength and the speed is very important, the speed that we need to make the sound projection. I open the angle and the shakuhachi doesn't jump to kan note, okay?
So the best angle of our breath, the stream, and the utaguchi is like 45 degree, right?
45, yeah.
It's like this.
Yeah, yeah. And why is the suggestion also to put the shakuhachi in this angle? Because when later I am going to use my head to make the family of the yuris, yoko yuri, tate yuri, mawase yuri, iki yuri, I have plenty of space to play with the sound. No? For example, if we analyze the classical kinko-ryu schools, Chikuyusha, Chikumeisha, Beibokai, when they play the yuri, the head, it's not moving very much. No? For example, this is what we call in shakuhachi like the classical yuri, no? Because the head is always moving in this spectrum. But when we play modern pieces, we need more motion. For example, playing just this note in a contemporary way, I'm going to play, for example, one note in the center, then with my head on the side, and when I have my head on the side is when I am going to start to make the yuri. In classical style, the yuri is more, let's say, gentle, and in modern style, we need sometimes bigger expression. Why? Because in contemporary music, we use a one-stand score, and composers, they write, for example, forte, sforzando, triple F. So for this, we need strength to do that, okay? Now, we are going to practice the Rotsuri Chiri scale, but we are going to play Ro with our head in the center, Tsu on the side, De in the center, Chi on the side, Di in the center, and I forgot this one, I or Kannoro, that is exactly the same one, on the side. So, first, I will do the demonstration. Dozo, please. One moment, please. What's your name, please?
Leah.
I am listening, for example, in Leah, when she is moving her head towards the sides, sometimes her pitch is going a bit up.
She's not the only one.
Well, she's the one that is closer to me, so. So how can we correct this? Through the speed that we need for each note. Okay, so the notes that we are going to play in the center point, we are going to use a fast air column, but when I move my head to the side, it's like I do like, I am going to exaggerate. Center. Side. I have to calibrate the speed of the air that I need for each note. Why? Because if I play the side notes with the same speed, my pitch is going to be up, takai. Yes?
If you play on the right side, which side does your head turn and go to?
If you play by right side, your head will go to 3 o'clock. Okay? So, once more, please. Much better.
Yeah, I was trying to. I will suggest another thing because I see that of course you are trying to copy me my head movements, but if you do as faster as I do, you can lose the sound. So my suggestion is move the head slowly. For example, better than. Because if you do as fast as me, you can lose the sound easily. Starting. Yes. So.
if you would like to add this practice method to your own practice, I would recommend you at your home, in a mirror, you buy a marker that after you can clean it up, and you draw in the mirror the clock with the lines for side, for Mary, for O Mary. And the mirror will be your master, because you can see yourself in front of the mirror at all the times what your head is doing.
That
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
Pardon?
That makes a lot of sense.
Well,
Of course. Yeah, because the mirror will not lie you know, about your head positions and like this. Okay?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is there a good reason to switch sides? Because instinctively I was trying to look at myself and I'm going 10 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
10 o'clock to 5 o'clock.
Yeah, if I do a Mary note,
Yeah.
I'm going, oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's absolutely perfect.
Because it's easier for me than going 10 o'clock to 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And
How is Tony, ¿cómo se dice en inglés
sí,
meticuloso?
medical.
Pardon?
Medical.
Ah, yes?
Sí.
We have to be this adjective when we practice in front of the mirror. First, to get us familiar with the practice.
Meticuloso.
Meticuloso. ¿Cómo se dice?
Meticulous.
Meticulous. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, maybe.
Yeah. If we really want to understand this method, we have to be meticulous. So my suggestion is, first, you practice this part slowly, or even this part. You start to practice, for example, short movements with the head, because the back side of your neck needs to be trained for this, okay? Until your neck understands the movement, that you will not lose the sound. Once that you can understand the 9 or the 3, and you don't lose the sound here, you start to practice the Mary notes, going, for example, to 8, 7, and 6 for O Mary. And when you master this, you are ready to start to practice the yuri techniques. For example, the first one, if I play the classical Yoko Yuri, my head is going to be on the around here, moving in this direction. But if I want to practice other yuris, for example, contemporary Yoko Yuri, do you know what is tate yuri? Tate yuri is a yuri where we push our head towards the front. Instead of moving the head on the side, we do like to the front. And then mawasa means cycle. Is when I am going to use my head moving around this spectrum using circles. Mawase. We are going to try to practice the first yuri. By the way, is there here in the class any Katsuya student? I mean, that you study Honkyoku of Katsuya Yokoyama? Because this technique you can apply for Yokoyama Honkyoku. For example, I really would like to have my 2.4, but it's in Spain. But the beginning of Sanan, when I play U, that first U, the that U, I start to incorporate the method of my teacher Fukuda Sensei into the KSK repertoire. So that when I start with that U, many players they do. But I start on the side. These two re, what I did in the performance, I play one re in the center, and suddenly the same day, I pull my head to the side to play with that dynamics. Because if we play all the time the same phrase with the same volume, then there are no dynamics. And when that phrase of San is ending, where I go with my hand? 2/6 to play like O major. So I'm telling you this for Yokoyama style students. You can also use this method for Yokoyama Honkyoku. Okay? Now, please, any question?
I'm a student of Matama Sensei.
Ah, yeah?
He doesn't encourage me to use Yuri as much.
No, I'm not speaking about Yuri, to play the Yuri technique in Yokoyama Honkyoku, because Yuri technique is forbidden. I am speaking about how you can use the clock method to play Yokoyama Honkyoku with dynamics. For example, the starting of Shikanotone, or in the Yokoyama style Shikanotone, they start. And I am going to play the third one later to play with the sides. Okay? Now using, for example, the side. What is the difference between the first example, playing the three first lines of Shikanotone with my head in the center, when I played the second example, playing the same phrase, but using alternative, the notes in the center and in the side? What difference can you feel?
Dynamic.
Yeah. So I am usually, my taste when I play Shakuhachi is play with dynamics. Another important aspect, that's why I bring these two 1.8s. Can you see the Utaguchi?
Oh, one is format.
The Utaguchi. Can you see any difference?
Oh, one is the angle is different.
Yes. This Shakuhachi that I have on my left hand, if you look at the Utaguchi, it has like the standard shape, okay? A standard one. And this one is deeper. This one I made by myself.
Oh,
Why?
wow.
Because Fukuda Sensei, if you look, for example, all his Shakuhachi, all of them, the angle of the Utaguchi is quite deep. And when you have a deep angle on the Utaguchi, you can put more air into the Shakuhachi one. So basically, this Shakuhachi is the one I use for modern pieces. If I play, for example, Kinkori Chikumeisha, I will not use this instrument. I will use Shakuhachi with a normal angle. Okay? So this one, if you have any other Shakuhachi and you make this part deeper, it can help you also to put more air within the bore of the Shakuhachi. Okay?
Is there a relationship between the one being deeper, as you're talking about the curve,
The curve, correct. Look,
where also the front of it goes lower?
pardon?
Right, this part here
Yeah.
is also lower.
Yes.
Is that the related?
This one I made by myself due to the polishing. You know, because when I start, I use like
It's
sandpaper.
The angle, I think he's referring to the
Oh,
angle.
the angle, yeah. This steep angle also I made by myself.
Okay.
So in this Shakuhachi I completely modified
the depth of the utaguchi and the angle, because this part, if is in this, you see, no? This one is more like this, and the other one is more like this. This one also can't help because our air column cut this point. So if you have this part a little bit flatter than this one, the air, el aire va como un tobogán. ¿Cómo se dice tobogán en inglés?
Toboggan. It's an amusement.
Yeah. Okay, so the air goes like a toboggan. Fast, okay? Now we are going to practice first the normal yokoyuri. So for left side players, we have to move a bit the head on the sides, but head on the sides is not enough for yokoyuri. For example, if I play with my left paw, I will use a little bit of my head going up, like not a 10 because a 10 will be too much, maybe like here, but in this section, like here and going back like here. So the starting of yokoyuri, if I play this technique slowly, because our neck needs the control and the training, this is the basic. If we can do this sound, is the starting of the yokoyuri. Because if I start to, with my neck, increase the movement and the speed, until it becomes natural. Have you ever practiced yuri technique with the shakuhachi? Yes? And anyone else? Have you ever practiced? You as well, no? And because you llama yuri domera. Yeah. And Sonia,
No.
okay. For chukuyusha, you will need yuri for the honkyoku and sankyoku. Okay? So the starting of yuri, as I told you, if you are left side player, you are going to do with your head a bit with like this, towards up and then down. Right side players, you are going to choose the other direction. A bit here and a bit down. So the first, we are going to start, for example, with Otsunore, the two first holes open, and
Which works are you gonna do?
So maybe Tananda, because I'm really interested in
Yes,
like
but-
wholesale style.
But
What about you?
I was thinking that suits, I don't know, maybe, I don't know this person.
And this guy, he had yesterday. He did really good. Like his technique is like very good. But he was like really strict on that.
Aro.
Yeah.
It's a weird style though.
It is, but it's like so delicate. It's different.
What style is this?
It's the Ozan.
Oh,
Ozan. It's the one he uses for Shakuhachi. Usually it's made in Ozan style. Like the round, this is like triangle. If you are, if I put you like round.
goes on there.
So,
no, if you play on the much smaller, this is like the circle. This is the three. You notice the three here. This here is the silver. This here is the small. So you are going to use this part, which will be on the my thumb is the center. This is the spectrum that you're going to use, and this is the flow. So your head has to go a little bit between the 2 and the 3 and go back a little bit between 3 and 4. Not too much exaggeration, but
I think one thing that there's kind of like a very fixed point, and everything else is three-dimensional. So your lips follow that fixed point, you know.
yes, I want that.
There's always, you know, a center, but it's
The basis of the
of course, the further you move, the further.
Okay, next. Does anyone know the 3 ways to change the tone color and pitch of the shakuhachi?
You could break it.
Pardon?
You could break it, that'll change the tone.
Yeah.
You mean while playing, right?
Yeah, when we are playing.
So head angle for one.
Yeah.
Fingering.
Fingers.
Maria the curry.
At first, I am not going to introduce fingers. Of course, that I use fingers when I am lowering the pitch. Okay. But one, we are going to do with our head movement. This is basic, no? We go, for example, center side to Mary. The other one, we are going to do just only with our lips, changing our embouchure, going down. And the other one will be pressing and separating the shakuhachi from our chin. Okay? For me, one of the most important things whilst playing the shakuhachi is to have flexible lips. The head movement will come later, because the head movement sometimes is a bit a slow process to control really everything until we don't have to think about how to do it anymore. But first, I start with my lips straight, and now the practice that we are going to do is my chin, I am going to put it down to open my lower part of my lip. So here, in this, with this position, then I can change the pitch. For example. I didn't use finger, I didn't use head. If I want a deeper, then in my way of playing, I mix lip and head, and of course, a little bit of the finger. So always when I go to Mary, I don't lose, I keep, how can I say, like a same balance sound between a carry note and a Mary note, okay? Are you familiar with this practice, or can we go to another thing?
It's good.
It's good? Okay. So, pardon?
What does it mean to not change the head and
There are usually three ways, for example, to get down with the pitch or
Up.
or up using these three basic techniques that are the leaps. For example, I have the leaps in this position. This leap I use for, let's say, center notes. But if I start to pull down my chin towards the floor, and I start to open the lower part of my lid, the pitch is going down. And if I use the smile that I told you before, then I can go with the pitch down. I prefer, for example, to do the pitch up using my head rather than this. Okay? So now the practice is exactly the same in Otsunore. We are going to play Otsunore, and we are going to lower using these muscles and the chin as much as we can until we completely lose the sound. Look the difference of my chin. I'm going to put first to this part of the class here, and later I'm going to change the side.
Wow,
see?
that
That-
very delicate.
Very delicate. Now I'm going to put in this direction. You see?
Can you do that one more time?
Pardon?
Uno más.
Una más, adelante.
Por favor.
Yes. Una más. I was thinking he was speaking about other things. I have my jaws completely down and my chin completely down. So just with this minor, well, it's not a minor movement, but with this movement, you can see I can get down to the pitch like half tone lower. Yes,
Do
Tony.
you think it's sensible in that context to think about the vowels? You know,
The vowels. Yeah.
You know, if I go from A to O, obviously the cavity in my mouth increases.
Yeah. Let's say that when I go down, I will go to the U vowel. U.
Yep.
And when I have my lips in the same position, let's say that will be like A, something like that. Okay? Please go ahead. I think that we are running out the time because the workshop is already 10:45, but we do this practice and finish.
When I put down my lip, I should make a sound. The sound just disappears.
Yes, because it requires a bit of practice. Look, wait one moment. I am going to put like this so you can see this part and my chin and my jaws that are going down, okay?
Oh, I see. Let me take a
Yeah. Okay? Once that we have trained our lips, then let me finish only with three more things. Once that we can control the techniques, we can start to move our lips faster. You know, like.
wow.
Once that we can control the slow motion movement. If you want to apply this technique, for example, for Yokoyama Honkyoku Kamuri, or Nayashi in Kinkoryu Chikumeisha, or Nayashi in Kinkoryu Chikuyusha, when I play the slow Kamuri in Yokoyama Honkyoku, I use this technique with my head. For example, like in Honshirabe. You see this Kamuri? And here. If I use then the Nayashi in Kinkoryu Chikumeisha, I don't know about Chikuyusha, so I cannot put an example. So, for example, always that we find in Kinkoryu Chikumeisha Honkyoku the Nayashi, we always have to breath to stop that phrase and then breath. So, for example, in Hifumi Hachigaishi, when we start, I can use this technique to make the tsu, tsu, ro, and then Nayashi. I already prepared my lips with the chin and my jaws down. So in this way, I can get this deeper sound in Nayashi and deeper sound in many notes when I have to play the ornamentations. Thank you very much, and I hope that you enjoyed the rest of the night of the festival.
That was really helpful because I took a lesson with Tokumara and then to learn the Sanya Sugabaki
Pardon, with whom?
with
Tokumara? Something?
Right.
Yes.
and he was like, use Yuli. I'm like, oh, Yuli, I don't know how to play that.
Yeah. Oh, well, when you study in Yokoyama Honkyoku, Shika no Tone and Hifumi Hachigaishi, in those pieces Yuri will appear.
Yes.
Because they are traditional Kinkoryu. And if you study later, for example, the repertoire of Fukuda Rando, in Fukuda Rando we play with Yuri. So I would suggest to
Learn Yuli.
yes. Some players also Yuri is forbidden,
I feel like it's
but some players occasionally,
use
as
it.
a minor ornament, they do quickly in a Yokoyama Honkyoku head.